You already know what time it is. Oh, yes, you do. And if you don't, then you kind of live under a rock around here. Because it is time for me, myself, and I to do what I do best around here. And that is to take time away from your guys' life. Or, as I like to call it, stealing your time. Yes, indeed, stealing your time. Time that you, as the viewer listening at home, or on the road, or in the shower, or in your bed, or wherever you are, time that you will never, ever get back in your lives. But neither will I. So keep that in mind. I will never get this time back, but you guys won't either. Now, I do realize what episode of the podcast we are on. We are on the unlucky number 13. Yes, unlucky number 13 of the show. But you know what? That don't mean shit around here. That don't mean nothing around here because we do not spread the unlucky vibes. We spread the lucky positive vibes around here, baby. So, I do realize that, yes, unlucky number 13 is a thing, but in terms of being here right now, talking to you guys, stealing your time that you'll never get back, and neither will I, that don't mean shit. Nothing unlucky is going to happen to you or me. Fingers crossed. So sit back, relax, strap up your seatbelts, and enjoy the ride because it is time, once again, for the 13th time, for me to blab at you guys into my microphone for about an hour here in studio time. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to the 13th episode of the podcast here on a lovely Tuesday afternoon. It does feel a little bit nasty doing the podcast on a Tuesday. We haven't done the podcast, obviously, before on Saturday. We did it once a couple weeks back on Monday. And now here we are doing it for the first time on a Tuesday. And I do apologize for not putting out the podcast this past weekend like I normally should do, but I've kind of been slacking on. I got a little bit lazy and just kind of put the podcast off. IRL things intervened. So I kind of just put the podcast off to the side this weekend, and I focus on a lot more stuff other than that. But here we are, so you can't complain. You cannot complain here. A lovely Tuesday afternoon. I mean, we're talking about lovely. One of the discussion points we're going to have today is the weather. It is just absolutely sensational out there, but we'll talk about more of that here shortly. Just want to give you guys a little update here, a little what to look forward to here on the show. So obviously, yes, this is the 13th episode of the podcast, which is just phenomenal. Yes, it is February 23rd. We're already winding down on the month of February. 2021 is going by in a heartbeat. It is almost already March. Shit is going 5,000 miles per hour. So the next episode of the podcast, there probably will not be one next week. I got a pretty busy weekend coming up, which is the weekend of February 27th and 28th, which is obviously this weekend. And then guess what? March 1st is next Monday, obviously because February only has 28 days in it. No leap year. Leap year was last year. So there will probably not be an episode of the podcast that goes out next weekend, but you can definitely expect podcasts to be rolling like bowling balls after that. I'm going to say this right now. This is just kind of an impromptu announcement. So the next episode will obviously be episode 14, and we'll talk about whatever then. But I am thinking for episode number 15 of the podcast, just because I guess 15 is a significant number. It's has a 5 in it, so it's pretty significant. If it has a 5 or a 0 in it, it's a pretty significant episode of any, podcast, TV series, whatever. If it has a 0 at the end of it or a 5, it's pretty significant, which is cool, I guess. But for episode number 15, might be the most either iconic podcast ever or might be one of the worst because go out here and say it. For episode number 15, will be dedicating the entire episode of the podcast to just doing the Pocky One Chip Challenge. Now, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, something along the lines, I made a bet with myself that for one weekend of weekend league games in Madden that I did not win 20 games, I would do the One Chip Challenge, and I don't even think I finished that weekend. So we definitely did not get 20 wins. So as a result, we're gonna do the One Chip Challenge. And I'm finally probably gonna purchase it here this week. And we'll dedicate an entire episode of the podcast to me just doing the One Chip Challenge. You guys watching my reaction on YouTube, listening to my reaction, my thoughts, going into it, obviously doing the chip and the aftermath too, which I am predicting is going to be pretty shitty. I'm definitely going to have to, not only mentally prepare, but just, literally prepare. Gonna have to, I think milk is probably going to be on standby. There's going to be a trash can on standby. I will not throw up on my desk because I have way too much expensive shit on this desk. So I need to have my reinforcements ready to go in case everything goes to hell, which I'm not saying is a 100% possibility, but it probably will be the most likely possibility of anything out there is me probably dying. Not, literally, but, just absolutely dying, absolutely just KOing here on the podcast. But you know what? It's all about entertainment. It is all about the entertainment. It is all about you guys witnessing me put myself through misery. Even though, for those of you that know me well, you know my track record with a certain shot of alcohol and many other things involved in that shot, you think I wouldn't have a tough time with this. You would think so, but when it comes to like spicy foods, I am kind of a puss. I won't lie. For whatever reason, I enjoy taking the meat shot, and we'll talk about the meat shot more in future episodes of the podcast, surely. Maybe even next episode. Stay tuned. But I enjoy taking those, and enjoy is in many air quotes. And that motherfucker is spicy. But when it comes to like spicy foods, if it's too spicy, then I don't do it well. And this chip, it's just one single tortilla chip, does a number on pretty much everyone who eats it. But it's been a very, very popular thing and has caught a lot of steam, and no pun intended. It it has caught a lot of steam as of late. So that's what we're gonna do. For those of you who do not know what the One Chip Challenge is and are just thinking, why is this guy talking out of his ass? Just go to Google or go to YouTube, search One Chip Challenge. And that's all you need to know. The rest is history. That's all you need to know. Just when in doubt, Google it, and boom. That's all you need to know. That is what we are going to do to ourselves right here on the show in just 2 episodes. Episode number 15. Oh, I'm already kind of scared, even though it's a ways away, but I think we're gonna knock it out of the park. I have a good feeling that we're gonna knock that one chip challenge out of the park. I have a good feeling, and hope you guys have a good feeling for me as well. Pause. So, anyways, that is what's to come here on the show. So, episode 14 is going to be not next week, but the following week. And then episode 15 will probably be the following week after that. Of course, as always, to keep up with your boy, the best, go follow me over on the Twitters. It's down below in the description. It is at @shenley_97, I believe, is my Twitter handle. If you have not already been following me over there, that's where I pretty much update everything regarding, the show, regarding YouTube, TikTok, streaming, all that good stuff. I tweet out the most, and I update you guys most over on there. So go follow me on there if you are not already. Sometimes I tweet out some bangers, but sometimes it's mostly just posting content. So, anyways, speaking of streaming, I'm still having some great times streaming. I just started in the last week streaming and playing Call of Duty Warzone. I'll talk more about this here at length here and why I think playing Warzone has just been a breath of fresh air for me. But I have been streaming and playing that a lot with some of my buds, and I've been having an absolute blast. It has been the most fun I've had streaming. Go check me out on Twitch too, twitch.tv/SteelersShawn, which I'm pretty sure it's the same as my YouTube channel. So go check me out over there. I stream pretty much whenever. I tweet out when I go live, so another connection there with Twitch and Twitter. But yeah, if you want to watch me absolutely suck it up in Warzone, because I'm not the greatest Warzone player, then you can go watch me live over on there. I'm not sure if I'll make any Warzone YouTube content. I think I'm just going to strictly keep my Madden, or keep YouTube as just, a Madden stream or Madden channel, I guess. I don't know. But maybe we dip our toes in the Warzone content on YouTube. I don't know yet. I don't really plan out things very well, like you guys know. I've said before in the past, I'm not a very long-term good planner. I'm a good short-term spur-of-the-moment planner. And that's about it. So, yeah. I take a sip here of, once again, the best energy drink on the market is the Bang Cherry Blade Lemonade here. You don't drink Bang? I don't feel sorry. I feel sorry for you, because you should be drinking it. Because it is, as the kids say, lit as fuck, fam. So, 13 minutes in, let's get into our first little bit of discussion here on the 13th episode of the podcast here today. Let's talk about something that I know you guys are just absolutely going to be pumped, have been just, completely highly anticipating of me talking about this. We're going to be talking about the weather. Please stay please stay here. Don't go to another podcast. Please, 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 please. I need the viewers. No, I'm kidding. Oh, I love the viewers, but don't go to a different podcast, please. Yes. I know, as boring as hell as that sounds, we're talking about the weather. Now, me personally, I'm a big weather guy. The weather is a very, very intriguing aspect of life. It really has, especially growing up here in the Midwest and experiencing just a shit ton of weather that has been just, out of this world. You know, in the Midwest, there's really just two phases. It's either hot as fuck and cold as fuck. Now, last week might have taken the cake for being coldest of the cold because, oh my God, was last week and the week after that some of the coldest it has been temperature-wise around this area in a very long time. Not only just this area, but also pretty much the entire country, except for Florida and California. You guys avoided it, but pretty much everywhere except those spots, it was just freezing as almighty hell. It was like Russia basically said, fuck you, and pushed its cold-ass tundra-like weather to the entire United States for literally about a week. Now, here was bad. It was really bad. But there were other places, specifically like Texas, who got dismantled by the frigidly cold and frigidly, weather bringing temperatures in terms of snow because they got hit with the cold and they got hit with the snow and they got hit probably worse than any place in the country because it's Texas, right? When you think of Texas, you don't think of snow. Texas and snow are not in the same, they're not in the same category whatsoever. But after last week, they might be because pretty much every Texan got a huge reality check last week and knew and found out firsthand just how much of a bitch Mother Nature can be. Now, I think Fort Worth, it was around Fort Worth, that Fort Worth area got annihilated. I'm pretty sure there was like a 130 car wreck on one of the interstates down there. Like, Jesus Christ, over 130 cars wrecked on an interstate. And I'm pretty sure it was sleeting outside, which if you don't know what sleet is, it's snow and rain. It's basically freezing rain. Once again, they're not used to that down there. Shit. No, they're nowhere. You can't expect anyone down there to be used to driving in those types of conditions because it rarely ever happens. Last week was like almost like a once or twice in a lifetime type of an event down there with the amount of snow and the cold that they got. It hit them like a ton of bricks, and it was just very unfortunate to see a lot of it that went down. There was a very, very infamous picture that went viral of these. I think there was like 3 or 4 individuals who were walking on the interstate, I think near Austin, Texas. They were walking on the interstate because it was so covered in snow because they didn't have it. They obviously don't have any snowplows down there. Like that's insane. And like we were all making fun of it up here in the Midwest because we can drive in the snow all we want. That's a lie because some people really suck at driving in the snow. Not me, I'm good. But we were all laughing like, ha ha ha, yeah, these guys are lost in the sauce down there. I mean, you expect them to be as good as us driving here when we have winter for 6 months out of the year? Are you fucking kidding me? No, you cannot. I don't know. That doesn't really seem like a laughing matter to me at all. I don't know why people thought it was because like this is serious. That was serious shit. There were lives that were lost because of how cold it was. People lost their power for days on end. Like it was just insanity, and that's just how crazy Mother Nature can get. At any point, anytime, it can rear its ugly head. It's just insane. Now, I've been intrigued by weather pretty much my whole life. It started obviously as a young kid, a young lad. I was pretty intrigued. mostly because of one of the TV channels that I had growing up, and that was the Weather Channel. Yes, which is one of the most common television channels on cable. And I was really intrigued by one certain show, and that show was called Storm Chasers. For those of you who don't know what Storm Chasers is or was, I'm not sure if they're still running it anymore. I don't think they are. I can't tell you the last time I watched the Weather Channel, to be honest. It's been years. But they had this guy. His name was Jim Cantori. He is a meteorologist. I think he's still working with them, or I'm not sure. Once again, not very up to date on the Weather Channel. But Jim Cantori, he is a meteorologist, and he was also kind of like a storyteller as well, because like he would narrate over these stories of these storms that happened, and they were most of the time they were tornadoes, right? So there was a lot of it was going on here in the Midwest, and a little bit further south, in this lovely thing called Tornado Valley, because we all know if you've lived under a rock and don't know what Tornado Valley is, basically the whole Midwest is Tornado Valley, because that's where tornadoes happen the most. So that's what the show was about. Most of the time, it was about tornadoes. I'm pretty sure they probably had some floods on there. They probably had some blizzards on there, but it was mostly centered around tornadoes, and it was very fascinating to hear stories of these towns that were hit, that absolutely were annihilated by tornadoes. People who were trying to protect themselves during the tornado, what they saw before it was going on, what they were doing before it was going on, before or right when the tornado was happening, and the aftermath as well. It's very interesting to see and hear the perspectives of those individuals during that show. So yeah, that show was called Storm Stories. And then there was another show. It was on the Discovery Channel. I don't remember what exactly it was called, but I'm not sure. Once again, I don't know if they still run this or not, but it was another show that was very similar to that. It was a storm chasing show where they were literally driving into the middle of these goddamn tornadoes and like getting and calculating data, receiving data, doing all this work while risking their lives. And unfortunately, there was one time where one individual was killed, not during the show, but like I think they were probably doing something offline or whatever, and someone got killed. I mean, that's the risk, obviously, that you have to take, because you're going into a fucking tornado just to get all this data, but it could be all for naught because you're risking your life. Once again, I don't remember what that show was called. I think it was called Storm Chasers. It was on the Discovery Channel. I know that for sure. But yeah, they took this souped up mega vehicle that could withstand winds of like X amount of miles an hour. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it was like 200 miles an hour. And they would just full send it into a tornado, get all this data and whatnot. Shit was unreal. Shit was pretty unreal. So that's kind of the reason why I've been mainly got intrigued and really was interested in weather as a kid, and now because exposed to it a lot, and being from the Midwest, and having the super cold here in the winter like now, and then having the super hot, like it is like it's just the easy talking point with individuals. Like if you're just going up to someone around here and be like, "Hey, been liking the weather lately?" Like, yeah, it's been cool. It's like, yeah, I've really liked how it's warmed up in the last week from -20 whatever the fuck to 54 like it is now. Like it's just a really good talking piece. It's just a really good topic of conversation if you're just talking to someone you don't know. Now, If you, not really, it's not really a good talking point for pickup lines. But gotta shoot your shot, right? I mean, if I shoot my shot, I'd talk about the weather. But hey, girl, how's the weather? You liking the weather? Small talk. It's all about the small talk. That I would not have. I don't have any clue about that. So, if you're ever around me and you have no idea what you want to talk to me about or whatever, just say, "Hey, man, how's the weather? You liking the weather?" And we'll chat it up. I know that just sounds incredibly fucking piss poor, bland, and boring, right? But it's reality. It's reality. It's the weather. It's cool. It's fun. Sometimes, like now, it's fun. Other times, like last week, no, it sucks. It fucking sucks. Anyways, so that's a talking piece about weather and how I got into it and how I almost pulled the trigger on becoming a meteorologist, but it's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the next little bit of conversation here today, and that is we're going to completely flip the switch here. We're going to be talking about those bastardly things called video games. Yes, indeed, video games. And more specifically, I'm going to be talking about the only two games that I play right now, which obviously is Madden, and now, just recently, I've been starting to play and stream Call of Duty Warzone. Now, for the past almost 3 years now, Madden has pretty much been the only game that I have consistently played pretty much on a daily basis. And I'm not like 365 days out of the year. No, not crazy numbers like that. But like this has been pretty much the only video game that I have played in the last 3 to 4 years. Dead ass. I have hardly played any other game. Like I played a little bit of Call of Duty, played a little bit of I have not played much of Fortnite. But yeah, maybe a little bit of Rocket League here and there, maybe some Mario Kart. But Madden has been the staple video game that I have played my ass off in. I put hundreds of hours into, and over the last few years, I've put in over thousands of hours into the game. Now, I have voiced my displeasure, and many people have displayed their displeasurement with how Madden 21, how the game is. Now, I'll go on record in saying this. I've said before in the past, Madden 20 is the worst Madden I have ever played, and it's not even close. The game was absolute dog shit. The way that people played the game and the way the game was designed really soured me on the product. And Madden 21 has slowly and methodically and surely crept up to Madden 20. And I now believe that both games are equally as bad. They are both on the level playing field of suckness. They both suck so bad. Madden 21, if you're on the fence about getting it, don't get it. Do not get it. And this has come from someone who literally plays the damn game every freaking day. Do not get the game unless it's like $10. There, I said it. Do not get the game. Do not get the game. And this is because, and this is why I'm saying this. Like I said, I've been starting to play a lot more Warzone lately. I've been streaming it. I cannot begin to tell you guys how much of a breath of fresh air something different can be. Whether it's video games or whether it's pretty much everything in your lives. Playing Warzone and, playing with my buddies too has really made me just so much more of what feels like just a normal human being playing a damn video game. Because playing so much Madden really is just completely toxic. It really is. Like, it felt like I was just going insane. It really was, because it really did feel like I was just trying to do the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results, because that's the literal definition of insanity. And now I added in Warzone, and I'm playing Warzone on my PC, by the way, and oh my god, it's amazing. But adding in Warzone and playing it a lot more now than I am playing Madden, it's just amazing to me how much more advanced and how much better that game is compared to Madden. Because, well, I'm telling you, EA Sports, I think it's a prime case of EA Sports having too many chefs in the kitchen. It really is, because look at all the games they have. They have Madden. They have FIFA. They have NHL. They have Apex Legends, which is a very, very popular game too. They've got Battlefield. They had Titanfall, I think Titanfall was EA. They're gonna be bringing back NCAA football, which I am super amped for. Finally, a different game compared to Madden that we've had for the last 7 or 8 years, to have nothing compete with it, and we're seeing the result of that, and the product is the gameplay wise just continues to go down the fucking scope, and this is at an all-time low. So I'm really excited for that, by the way. I'll probably talk about that more down the line. But it's just amazing to me how so far behind the 8 ball EA Sports is in terms of game development, because like I don't even know where to begin to explain this without just talking out of my ass. Like, really, I get it. I completely fully understand why Madden. I'm now finally understanding why Madden is not as good as what it could be. Is because EA Sports is literally just, once again, too many chefs in the kitchen. You can't have too many chefs in the kitchen. You have to have the head chef and then maybe 3 or 4 chefs. You can't have 10 or 12 different chefs in the fucking kitchen. You just can't. You're wasting, people's time and resources and all that stuff. It's just, I don't even know. Madden would be so much better if EA did not make and produce as many games as they do. And I'm pretty sure that's a very, very common sentiment among a lot of people. Is that, oh, hey, this game, even FIFA would be way better if it wasn't made by EA. Or, let's say the NHL would probably be a whole lot better if EA didn't have this and that. You see, like, all those games would be way better if there wasn't one single company calling the shots, and that's Electronic Arts. The teams who develop Madden, I have the utmost respect for 100%, because they are doing everything that they can in their power with their resources and their money to make the game as good and continuing to improve the game and advance the game and to make it better. But ultimately, it goes up to the head honchos at the EA, and really puts a damper and really puts a hold on what the game could be. Now, Call of Duty, it's not the case. It's definitely not the case because they have produced a game which is very, very similar to Fortnite and Warzone that has once again just been a complete breath of fresh air to play. It really has. I cannot tell you guys that I've had this much fun playing a game in a long time. Like I said earlier, I maybe even thinking about making Warzone content. That's how invested in. That's how more invested I want to be into the game. That's how I just want to be with the game. It's to produce content with it because it is just such a relief of pressure compared to Madden. Because Madden, oh my god, can absolutely destroy your mental health because it is a very, very pressured field game. Now, I'm not saying Call of Duty isn't pressured at all. It is extremely pressureful, if that's even a word. The pressure is probably even 10,000 times more than it is in Madden, especially at the competitive level. But at the casual level and the semi-competitive level, like I think I am, in Madden anyways, not Call of Duty. I still suck in Call of Duty. I'm starting to getting better by each game. But Madden's just the stress and the pressure that it causes really does a number on a lot of individuals, and it's really started to take its toll on me. And that's why I've really dialed back the amount that I've played. Because to put this in perspective, this year, this Madden year, which started back in August, I played every single weekend league for almost 20 weeks straight. Weekend league, if you don't know what that is, in Madden and in other games too, like FIFA, I think NHL might have a weekend league, but weekend league is basically the most competitive mode there is, and that's nowhere near the truth. It's quote unquote the most competitive game mode in the game. But you are basically going up against 25 other people in 25 games. That's the max amount of games you can play in one weekend. Think about that. 25 games over the course of 4 days. Now, there's some people that play 25 games straight. Think about that. They play 25 games in one sitting. Those people, I don't know how they do that. I really don't. The most I think I've ever played in one day is probably like 17 or 18 games. Maybe even less than that. Probably less than that because there ain't no way I would be able to sit on my chair right now and play 25 straight games of Madden. That just sounds, I would much rather do anything else on the planet than do that. Because that is just, that's awful. That sounds completely brutal. Now, 25 games over 4 days is not horrible, but like I said, Madden 21 gameplay wise is just as bad as Madden 20. So when you add in the element, excuse me. So when you add in the element, the gameplay is bad. coupled with playing 25 games and getting your brains absolutely smashed in by EA Sports at varying times, it does a number. And I did that for 20 straight weeks. For basically like 4 months. Pretty much from like the end of August until like the end of January. Every weekend. 25 games in 4 days. Every weekend. Just craziness. I'm a madman. I feel like a madman for doing that. I really have. And I have not touched the weekend league hardly at all over the course of the last like 3 to 4 weeks. And I feel like a new person. Yeah, I'm kidding. I don't really feel like a new person. I just feel better because it is just so much. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of time that you have to put in. It's a lot of frustration that you can try to cancel out. You can try to channel it out as much as you can, but it's gonna rear your ugly head like a stubborn asshole like me. I can try to cancel it out and channel it out as much as I can. The frustration's still gonna be there. Still gonna be there at the end of the day because I am a heated mofo when I get cheated. I can get tilted very, very quickly. So, adding in Warzone, playing Warzone has just been so much fun. Once again, I have not had this much fun playing a game in such a long time because it just felt like a chore to play Madden for the last, especially this year. It's felt like more of a chore than anything. It's been like, oh man, I gotta play Madden today. I gotta make a YouTube video. Blah blah blah. Oh no, guess what? Here comes Weekend League again. Oh my god, now it's time to sweat my ass off and try to win X amount of games. And does that sound fun? No. That you heard that in the tone of my voice. You heard the tone of my voice now. That does not sound fun whatsoever. That sounds like me slowly dying. So yes, playing Warzone and just having fun in Warzone because I'm not anywhere near good in Warzone. It's been so much fun. And another thing that has made it fun is because, oh my god, it has a skill gap. It has a skill gap, which is something I'm not going to get into too much here because that is a can of worms I don't want to open. Skill gap. There's a huge skill gap in Call of Duty. In Madden, the skill gap has all but evaporated. It is pretty much non-existent. It was there once upon a time. It really was there, but the skill gap in Madden, it is still there, but it's there, but it isn't. Let's put it that way. Alrighty. Now we are going to get into the final topic of discussion on this episode of the podcast, which, by the way, hopefully you guys have been enjoying. Hopefully you guys have been having a safe and phenomenal day. And if you have not, hopefully I'm turning that frown upside down, and hopefully I'm turning that negative into a positive. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about here the last part of this episode of the podcast about something that I have become notorious for. Now, for those of you who have me added as a friend on that one app, the Chat of Snaps, you know full well what I'm about to talk about. You know it because it feels like every weekend or every other weekend or every third weekend this happens. I'm talking about 2 words, 8 letters. Meat shot. Now, I could probably talk about this at further length. I could probably make this out to be an entire episode, but we're gonna kind of keep it a little bit condensed because I have something up my sleeve that I might be doing. This probably should get a few people's approval first. But for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, the meat shot. The meat shot is one of USD's staples. It's one of the Vermilion community staples. It is viewed upon by many as being one of the most gnarly, one of the most intimidating, one of the most scary shots that you will ever do in your life. People hype it up to be, I'm so scared, I don't want to do the meat shot. And then there's bastards like me and some of my friends who are saying to that sentiment, hold my beer. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the meat shot, once again, is something that we have become. I'm saying we because we have become notorious for. Now, I cannot tell you what's in the meat shot. That's the sacredness of the meat shot. You cannot spread the word because it is that sacred. You can only know what's in the meat shot if you've taken it. Now, I'm not sure how many meat shots I've taken. I'm sure it's probably over 100 by now. I don't know exactly. And I can't tell you for a fact what is exactly in it. Seriously, I can't. I know, right? You're probably thinking, what? You've taken over 100? Like, how? Man, they switched that shit up so much. It's like it's a meat shot, one meat shot. It can be like the normal one, and then the next one, it can be different. And if you want to do another one, God forbidding, it's going to be different from the other two. They switched that shit up. And by the way, the meat shot is served at Carrie's Bar, downtown Vermilion. Not to my knowledge. Any other bar around here serves it. So that's where you get it. That is the aura. That is the, what do you want to call it? The aura. That is the, whatever adjective you want to use. That is the supremeness. There. Supremeness? I don't know. That is the supremeness of the meat shot. And over the last 3 years now, me and a bunch of other of my friends, we have turned the meat shot upside down. We have turned it into legendary status. We have turned it into meme status. We have turned it into what I like to call meat Rushmore. Get it? Because we're in the Dakotas. And Mount Rushmore is the thing. Get it? Haha. Meat Rushmore is what we like to call whenever we are doing a meat shot. Whoever is doing a meat shot, they are a part, and they become a part of Meat Rushmore. Now, I have something up my sleeve that I have been thinking and I have been wanting to do for quite some time, and I think I would have so much fun doing it. And that is coming out with the one and only Meat Rushmore compilation, where I take all the meat shots that have been recorded and that I have saved on my camera roll and or other camera rolls of people, and putting it all into one quote unquote documentary for you, the individuals, to watch and witness greatness. I think it would be amazing. I might have to ask around to certain individuals, be like, all right, hey, would you be all right if, this, that, and, ask people if it's all right for me to do this. This is not a confirmed thing whatsoever. This is just something that has been roaming around in my hollow head of an idea of content that I could potentially be whipping up here in the not so distant future. And that is to do a meat shot compilation of all the meat shots that we have done, tie them up in a little bow tie, put them together, and you guys can watch it. You guys can watch it. Now, it might take a while to get all the clips together and everything and edited and whatnot, but it it has the potential to be really, really cool. I think for those of you who are good friends with me, I think you would probably want to see something like this, right? You want to see all the meat shots. Remind yourself of all the amazing memories here of doing the meat shot. Doesn't that sound fun? Does that not sound like entertainment? It does. So that is something that could be in the cards coming down the pipe at you guys very, very soon. Once again, not 100% confirmed. Need to ask around to certain people, get it approved. We'll go from there. That is something I wanted to talk about at the end of this episode. So, I want to cut it off there. This is a relatively shorter episode, so you're welcome. Once again, no podcast next week. Episode 14 the following week. Episode number 15 will be the one chip challenge. And then the rest is history. We're off to the moon. So that's it. Calling it quits there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support on the podcast. It fuels me to do more of them if you support. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you guys for listening. If you're on Spotify and or SoundCloud, even though you're probably not on SoundCloud because who the fuck listens to this on SoundCloud? I don't think anyone does. Regardless, this has been your boy Sean. I am signing out. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for episode number 14 of Stealing Your Time. I'm out. Have a good night. Have a good day. Whenever the time of the day you're listening to this. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace.